Welcome, everyone. This is our Mercedes-Benz marketing plan presentation. We have Caden Bislin, Charles Dunn, Jack Baumeister, Kevin Perfleece, and Sawyer Kuhala. Next slide, please.
All right, so I'm going to start out with the history of Mercedes-Benz. So in 1886, Carl Benz created the first internal combustion engine in a car. It was funded by his wife, Bertha. She was also an automobile enthusiast. And after getting the patent from Benz, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach turned it into a stagecoach powered by petrol. And they first marketed it in 1901. Next. So early 1900s, the Mercedes trademark was created by Emil Jelinek, who was also an automobile entrepreneur and a racing enthusiast. Using this vehicle, he blew away all the competition in racing, and this kind of got attention from mega rich families like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Morgans, and in turn just became a really good marketing point. And the name as we know it, Mercedes-Benz, was finally branded in 1926 after the merging of companies between Carl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler. Next. Moving on to a more dark period. Throughout the 1930s, the 770 model was extremely popular in Nazi Germany. Hitler drove one himself with some upgrades like bulletproof windshields. And in the late 30s, they completely shifted to military equipment, which was like marine engines, diesel trucks, aero engines. And by 1942, they had completely stopped producing cars for the market. And towards the end of the war, it's reported that more than half of their employees were forced laborers, prisoners of war, concentration camp detainees, and such. And following the war, many years and many millions of dollars of retribution was paid to the families of those people. Next. All right, after the war and to present day, they went back to their roots and went back to making mostly just automobiles. And following a deal with Studebaker, who was a prominent car company in the US in the 1950s, they were able to get into the American dealerships and market that way. And since then, they've become and stayed innovative leaders in safety and technology like motion sensor, crash performance, self-driving semi-trucks, stuff like that. And they're currently the fourth highest profits of all automakers.
All right, now I'm going to talk about the environmental analysis of Mercedes-Benz. So they first introduced their flex fuel vehicles in 2016. Now, they wanted to do this because it produced greener emissions. They were at the forefront of environmental protection while maintaining a high quality. They also had flexible face-to-face. They were able to face whatever challenges came at them. Next slide. So then they moved into hybrid vehicles. Now, their hybrid vehicles are just like any other hybrid vehicles, except they're more luxurious. Now, when Mercedes wanted to take this on, they really, really wanted to emphasize that you can save the planet while still feeling like you're driving a really, really expensive car. And that's exactly what they did, and they perfected it. Next slide. Now, what they're trying to move into is an even better environmental protection issue, which is electric vehicles. Now, they're coming up with something called integrated EQ technology. Now, that's taking what other companies have already done and yet again building upon it, but making it 10 times better. Next slide.
Yes, so Mercedes-Benz current marketing plan they've been using has been targeted towards Generation X and millennials. The middle and upper class been focusing on electric vehicles, including hybrids, and have been moving their manufacturing plants to developing countries to enter developing countries' economies. They focus on three themes. They move, perform, and transform. Move is to reinvent the invention by harmonizing sustainability and luxury by focusing on the customer and their satisfaction and driving efficiency and moving towards a carbon neutral manufacturing of all cars. Perform, creating sustainability value by driving profitability and sustaining cash flows while developing a strategic partnerships across the globe with their entire supply chain, all the way to their customer, to their manufacturers. Transform, reinventing the human resources through their strengthening of their workforce by education, agility, and diversity while investing in the work environment as well. Next slide.
So for sustainability, Mercedes-Benz has adopted what's called the Ambition 2039, which basically means they want to be carbon neutral as far as their vehicles and their factories by 2039. So they plan on doing this by building electric vehicles, flex fuel vehicles, and hybrids. They currently have 5 electric vehicle models and 20 hybrid models. 20 hybrid models. They also plan on having more than 30 plants that are producing carbon neutral vehicles by the end of 2022. As you see from the picture, they also plan on investing in batteries. They currently have a battery plant that they produce where they're the primary producers, but they're also entering partnerships with other companies to produce batteries. They've pledged 1 billion euros to invest in batteries, and they're also buying fuel cells, battery cells from other companies. And they've also made factory improvements. Next slide. So their the Factory 56 is basically their new template. So this is how they're going to make the factory improvements. They built the factory from recycled concrete from the beginning. So it's a carbon neutral plant. It also has a carbon neutral power grid, which it does that by using solar panels, and it also uses batteries from recycled batteries from vehicles. Plants occupy 40% of the roof, so that cuts down on like the amount of rainwater that runs off, and it also cleans the air in the factory at the same time. And the new factory can integrate a new car model within days. So because everything is built to be as efficient as possible, they're able to swap out certain part of the line and start creating another model without totally overhauling the plant. So next slide. As far as ethics go, when they built the new plant, when Mercedes built the new plant, they listened to the employees. So they allowed them to make suggestions as far as where they wanted to work in the factory, who they wanted to work next to. And according to Mercedes, 85% of the employees' wishes were granted. The factory is also designed for employee convenience because they have people of different ages. They have older workers, they have women. So as far as convenience, they're able to adjust vehicles that are on the line so that they're in the most ergonomic position for them to work on the vehicles. Next slide. And here's a video of Factory 56.
Automobile production of the future. What should it look like? It is sustainable. It is digital, flexible, efficient, and above all, it has people as its focus.
All this is already reality. In Factory 56 at Sindelfingen, Mercedes-Benz most modern assembly hall in its global production network. Here, a diverse range of vehicles is produced fully flexible on the same line, adjusted on market demand. At first, the S-Class sedan and long wheelbase version. Then, also the Mercedes-Maybach S-Class and the all-electric EQS. At the same time, efficiency is increasing compared to the previous S-Class assembly by 25%. This has been made possible, among other things, by wide-scale digitalization and by the flexible structure of the production process with tech lines and driverless transport systems. The two tech lines bring together all the complex plant technologies. They serve to avoid fixed points in the assembly process. Flexibility improves. When the new models are added, conversion work is easy to carry out in the other areas of the assembly hall.
Okay, next slide.
All right, that takes us into our marketing mix. Currently, our product is based around luxury cars, vans, commercial trucking, and we focus on making our brand stylish. And we utilize our high-end engineering and patents that we've been building over the last over 100 years. And how we price our models is it's priced as a luxury good, so it's high-end. We also have been segmenting our product lines to reach younger generations at a lower buy-in price. And we offer in-house financing so people are able to buy a car on a loan. We promote by using our strong brand name, which has been around for many years. We also have very stylish and personality marketing where you'll see us on social media promoted by influencers, which have been reaching our new target markets of millennials and Generation Z. Where you can see our product, you can almost see it everywhere in the globe. We have strategic partnerships in all major countries, and we have invested heavily in our digital buying experience due to COVID-19. Next slide, please. And now to our SWOT analysis. Our strengths. We are a leader in engineering. We've patented technology, so much patent technology that it drives our automation, our electric vehicles, our hybrids, so we can have the luxurious car of tomorrow. It's an established luxury brand, and we're financially strong. Our weaknesses, we have intense competition in the luxury market as well as in the electric vehicle market. COVID-19 set us behind quite a bit, and our consumer base is aging, and we are working on introducing our brand to younger generations. Opportunities, electric vehicles are a key to success. Automation of those electrical vehicles is also key to our success, and focusing on the target market of Generation Z and millennials, and also getting our Mercedes-Benz in emerging markets to capture the growth of the emerging markets. Our threats, increasing cost of goods sold is one. BMW is our biggest competitor in the luxury market, and electric vehicle competition is at its all-time high with Tesla and many startup companies across the globe. Next slide.
So for our competitor analysis, there are a lot of competitors to go off of, but we chose BMW largely because they are also transitioning into the EV market, and also they have a larger share of market share in the US. They are at 14.23% versus Mercedes 13.85%. Largely though, they are following very similar strategies in terms of going online, making sure having a similar customer base of an aging customers as well as higher class. Next slide. In terms of similarities, again, they're both going towards EV technology with Mercedes EQS, their 2022 EQS, and BMW's i4 fully electric vehicles. They are having personalized sales. So on their website, you can tell that you can have any sort of interior, color of your car, things like that, and it delivered straight to you because of our investment in online sales due to COVID-19. The biggest differences, though, is that BMW does have a stronger handle on EV-based systems. They are cheaper, but Mercedes does have more of that luxury brand, which you can kind of see in the market share. Next slide. Now, how Mercedes can beat BMW through this analysis is probably an increase in more personalized selling on the online market, striving to hit more EV-based technology, as well as possibly automation by 2030 before any other company, and a focus on making their luxury vehicles a little more affordable.
So our new product introduction, we want to introduce an entire fleet of automated electric vehicles. It would combine our current luxury brand with new innovative technology, such as full electric, better batteries, things like that. We would keep the customers Mercedes already has, but also add customers who are looking for more sustainable products, because as we mentioned earlier, our current client base is aging. Next slide, and here's a video.
So for the target market and segmentation, right now, Mercedes is it has a large growth opportunity in the United States, China, and Europe, but it's also spreading to secondary markets, which would be emerging markets such as South America and India. Currently, the demographics are sort of like upper class, majority white, but white men, but the demographics are changing. It'll still be majority upper class, upper middle class, and upper class, but there'll be a larger portion of the market that's female. Also, it will become more diverse, especially Latin. As far as the Latin population, which is projected to be over 20% by the 2039 goal that Mercedes has set forward. As far as the generations that will be the consumers, the baby boomers, especially the younger portion of the baby boomers, will still be a portion of the Mercedes market, but the next the largest market would be most likely Generation X, followed by Millennials and Generation Z. So how Mercedes plans on targeting these groups is Mercedes plans on focusing on sustainability, which Millennials, Generation X, and especially Generation Z are most concerned with. Next slide.
That brings us into our marketing mix. So yeah, our product is going to be luxurious, stylish. It's going to be the car of the future, technologically forward-thinking with adaptive smartphone integration. It's going to be fully customizable through the digital buying experience, and we're going to be focused on safety because in automation you have no control, so you have to be safe. Starting off pricing, we're aiming for the mid, $55,000 range with the add-on packages that allow it customizable. When we enter into phase 2, we're going to branch out and hit smaller and low price models to hit those younger generations and also into those cities that require smaller cars. And then phase 3, we're going to get into the bigger car markets once we are able to produce them at a reasonable cost. Promotion, we're going to partner with Lyft, Uber in major cities. We're going to partner with world-renowned influencers like Bono and Beyonce. And we're going to utilize digital media advertising on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and we're going to buy it at a low price because it's already a cheap media outlet. And our places are going to be focused on major markets, like mentioned earlier, like United States, China. We're going to have our cars in dealerships, and we're going to heavily invest in our digital direct sales experience to drive that customizable car. Next slide.
All right, so here's how we're going to implement our automated electric vehicles. So we're going to partner with people who are already working on this kind of technology. So Arity and it's pronounced We Tri-City. They are perfect partners because as a car company, we're very new to this whole aspect of marketing and everything. So we need to get with a company that knows what they're doing. Once we have that, we need the customer base. Now, this is where we start showing people our product. This is where we contact Uber and Lyft. We're going to have them try out our product, and then they're going to start integrating it into people's lives. Now, after that, we need to pick the location. So we're thinking we're going to go with cities like New York or Chicago. So Chicago is actually where Arity is based. Now, we need to do cities like this only because if you do it out in a rural country, of course it's going to be safe. There's nothing out there for it to hit. So you need to prove that your product, our product, is going to be super safe. So we're going to do it with cities that have high traffic, small parking spaces, and that are generally difficult to drive in.